Mike and Qrash.
Hello, we finally got our crap together here, and we had delays, but we got all this horse racing stuff going on, and I'm anxious to hear this information.
And why this is the money laundering. We've got casinos. We got racetracks across the country. We got your state lottery. All part of the laundering network of the deep state. Remember now, ready? You can't steal trillions if you can't clean it. So we're looking for the largest laundromat in this universe. And it starts here. That's what it is. And I'm going to show you even more information about how it operates and bringing in illegals and legally licensing, moving drugs, wiring offshore. I mean, I was just saying this to Qrash. If someone comes up with a better movie in a series, I ain't ever seen it. I
Right.
ain't even heard of a fucking hint on this bullshit. Just on this is a sliver, but again, where it goes, because it connects to Pandora's box, it connects to New Hampshire, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And listen, the path and the only path, and if anybody says otherwise, what was I've been saying this whole time for years? They're full of shit. It's their money or shut up. Ready? Audit the Senate. I mean, what do we got? 100 fucking people? Does it take much? Let's put the big ball team on it and hire me. You don't have to be. I work for fucking nothing. I work for skulls. I'll help you with the audit. I'm good with numbers. I only built the largest volume brokerage firm in the country. And I'm good about depicting bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm a
say,
hard guy to fucking lie to because
see
I
through
don't
the
have
bullshit.
patience. Right. So then we have the House, and I've already got a couple cartel members in the Senate. And then we do the House, right? So if you start auditing then you're doing something.
All right.
Till then, it's a smoke show. And what I was telling Qrash, Elon Musk, he's telling you again, even yesterday, about falling the country into bankruptcy. Bankruptcy with all these great economies that everybody's taking credit for? How'd we go bankrupt? Now they're going to tell you it's waste. That was the number, waste. Waste? Really? They stole trillions. Don't sell me on fucking waste. They were stealing with the waste. Those were the no-show jobs. Those were the payoff. That's for all these assholes to shut their mouths so they don't rat any of these guys out. So you don't get any whistleblowers. See? Pay for play. Now, if you're going to go bankrupt, what do you move in business first? And listen, anybody who's run businesses for over 30 something years, like I have ran into difficult times. It's forecasting those times and setting yourself in a position to survive those times. What do you have to do first? Cut the overhead. What's the largest overhead? Employment. All of a
Pay,
sudden, cut
pay.
all those jobs out. Half of them probably weren't even showing up. But you unload. That's the overhead. So don't believe the waste. Believe the theft. Don't believe anything from here if they don't go after the money. And that is another reason why I'm showing you this with the casinos. What happened from there? Anagos opened up a chain of casinos. What were they going to do? Launder another casino and racetrack in Salem, New Hampshire. They were going to expand on their empire. But that's the measure of what they're stealing from you. And you are recognized now by one of the wealthiest men in their world and a good businessman as going broke. Bankruptcy. Okay. Now, before I take you to the world of casinos and racetracks,
What are we seeing with Flynn?
ah, right. Now, let's think about this. All right. You know why? What do they say with Shakespeare? I think I protest too much.
I
The
don't know.
Chinese say the longer the explanation, the bigger the lie. All
Right.
right. So let's take a look about this. It seems with Flynn being around still, that's the DOJ. Flynn was the path to the DOJ. I know I tried to drive Flynn up the ass of the DOJ for 4 fucking years. Okay? All people saying, this is where, and I've given you the evidence, December 18th, all the communications, even in it tied to Planet Fitness and the witness for the largest cartel in this country. I mean, this is a fucking Rembrandt. Okay? And it was all at that time. So we know that that's true. But I also know there has to be a deal because the DOJ, in working with Trump, is not going to have Flynn be a wild card, and Flynn's not going to sacrifice himself when he's sitting with my evidence and he's in New Hampshire using that same Pandora's box to blackmail.
Right.
That same cartel to blackmail and leverage, and maybe even look like a hero. The thing they've got to do is change the narrative of murder my ass, or murder my ass with a changed narrative. Who does he sound more likely?
Don't give them more options.
It's none they haven't considered. But here's the thing, right? So again, what does Trump do? He writes him the Mar-a-Lago, pats him on the ass and a little on the head and say, all right, now get the fuck out of here. But that was enough. Flynn goes, they're not buying it. They're not buying it. They're believing their lying eyeballs.
Yeah.
How do you like that? Okay, you know what we'll do? We'll go, okay, Trump gets together with DOJ. We're going to announce and how you at the DOJ, the same people that you said were going to prosecute you, that you were really putting together their plan and acting their plan of insurrection to take out Trump. Trump don't know that, but Flynn's a way into the DOJ, and the DOJ can't have you have that. So, and Flynn goes, listen, you go after my ass, I'll burn every one of you assholes. Does that not sound like a Flynn? Of course it does.
Yeah.
So what do? They make a Flynn. Well, wait a minute. They didn't buy the DOJ. The Mar-a-Lago, the DOJ, we still didn't buy it. Holy shit, you know what we got to do? We got to give him a ceremonial job. Don't give him a real fucking job. I mean, how close were you to the vice president? So they gave him a ceremonial job. And that was the third thing. That was the third cell. Well, guess
what? Is he a visitor? He's the visitor. I don't even know what the description was. Something at the visitors, not the visitor center, but
he's the guy that stands up front every couple of years and circle jerks somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
It was ceremonial. They're trying to keep selling us on Flynn, and Flynn moves into this media empire. Listen, it was a plan. It was the DOJ. Trump won, and all of a sudden they dropped the case. Great. Now go after the DOJ. You don't deal with these assholes. You don't deal with evil. That's what it means with Flynn. And what I'm giving you, and now from this evidence, is the evidence I gave Flynn too. The evidence that the DOJ and the FBI had. That's why every one of them still came to me. Okay. You know what? Let's start by this connecting piece of evidence. Qrash, it's going to be the text message of Ted Little. Now, Ted Little was a lawyer that was a mole, okay? If you could blow that up for me. But Ted Little, too, that I taught him. He was afraid his children were going to be murdered. He's on the $50 million settlement. What was I telling the world that I had found? And this is in New Hampshire now, right? This is the Pandora box. This is the money laundering network. He's sending me this as I'm fighting the Penn National angle of it. And I'm saying that Pollock is working for Penn National to blackball me. That's the reporter that you turn around and you hear him say, about the broken down horses. Well, later on, I'm going to show you on this that you see emails. He wants me to be the governor of the fucking state of Pennsylvania. See?
Okay, let me just say so people don't know. Ray Pollock, he's one of the main journalists or reporters that smeared you.
Number one.
The main guy who smeared you into oblivion with lies and accusations.
Right.
So people need
and now later on he admits to it. But this is an important too, guy. Ready? It's how they attack, destroy the messenger, right? Showing the horses, the races I wasn't even in. Now, that this is why this is important. Little works for Shaheen and Walker in this Pandora's box in New England and New Hampshire. Now, when he says, what if I can prove you're right about Pincus and Ray Pollock? What if I can show you the legal docs about your divorce, trust you've never seen before? I can show you pictures ranging from Walker. Okay, but the reason of Pincus and Pollock, Pincus was the lawyer representing me at Penn National, was in the bag for Penn National. I was right. Pollock was hired by Penn National, which is also the mob, which is also this money laundering network, to turn around and blackball me to the press. That's why when you see these idiots showing this horse racing, it's them. Because I found that piece. All right. And look what they did. So what did I find was race fixing. And what they would do is fix the races and then wire the money offshore and bet. The money comes back after the race clean. They were literally fixing races where if you bet 1,000, you drop the odds from 5 to 1. They'll bet hundreds of thousands, and the odds stay at 5 to 1. It never hits the racetrack. They'll even put their own money up on the other side as international drug cartels, paying off their own money with their money to clean it.
That's
And this is
that's crazy.
well, and they use it with the Pennsylvania wire, the state of Pennsylvania betting wire. They use that wire.
You saw that, right? You had.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I have it, and it included your governor.
Yeah.
Now,
Tom Wolf at the time.
let's hit bad luck. Next shot.
Okay.
Tom Wolf, fucking politicians. All right. Now, so what I did was I started going to the press. In fact, when I started calling them out, they shut down the HBO series Luck. All right, you can take it down, Qrash. They shut it down. It was about horse racing, and the idea was it was about me. In fact, you can hit the next picture of bad luck. It was Dustin Hoffman was the producer, and that guy on the right was supposed to be me. But the thing here was, right, they got canceled. Even Hoffman comes out and says, hey, this was bullshit. No horses got hurt, none of it. But they couldn't have even my presence out there. That's why they even put it off of an HBO. That was part of the thing. And then they started hitting me. ESPN, E60, right? Destroy the messenger. All right, now let's take a look at this. Now remember now, on this thing with bad luck, that's with Pollock. So in other words, Pollock is sending stuff in, right? HBO. Now Pollock says I should be the governor. HBO, ESPN's taking everything down. You know what the title of it was? Most hated man in racing. Why? And I'll show you. There was a clip that Qrash had put out there just the other day with Rachel Nichols in my house and saying that if you're telling the truth, they're all lying. Yeah, just like now.
Right.
Which is why they wanted to pay me $25 million.
And let me just say this real quick. People don't believe that everyone's lying. And I'm telling you, coming from what I'm seeing happen with you and going through all your videos, and yes, everyone's lying. I mean, you have the proof that this stuff that they're saying is not
right.
True. So
you know what it is? It's hard to comprehend how big this is.
Exactly.
That's part of the employment too, by the way. That's what I call play for pay. We're surrounded by the people that are working for them. Right. This is bigger than you think. See, they knew it was a way into the laundering network through the casinos. Remember now, I'm taking you here, right? Where did it go? And what did Ted Little? Ted Little's up back in New Hampshire, shows those racetracks, sees the drug cartel. You see, they're taking this laundering network and parking it there. Not just that. And we're going to show you some more. All right, hit the next one, tied to the tracks. Not just that, but they're moving children. They're moving drugs in the hay trucks. You see, that's what I was saying, tied to the tracks. They're bringing in illegals. Nubia Bombardier was the okay, you can take that down, was the identifier, and what they were doing was getting legal Pennsylvania license for illegal aliens. What they were sending you was the drug cartel members. They would go into the racetrack, get licensed by the state, and live on the backsides of the racetracks and then disappear. But they were working with hollowed out hay trucks with people and drugs and horse vans. So in other words, it was a full community of distribution, but of identification and doing it legally. That was the state of Pennsylvania. See, that's why that was important.
So illegals came in through the hay trucks, and they also trafficked and everything with like children, guns, and drugs and all that too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they came in. Our government gave them legal
The
citizenship.
racetrack did, right.
I mean, yeah.
But the racetrack did it with the government official
Right.
that works for the state, but that's at the racetrack. That's Nubia Bamadia. And
Okay.
and then once I called it out, right, and said what she was doing, she was charging $1,700. Hit it.
Hitting. What am I hitting? Oh, hang on. You caught me off guard because I'm like waiting for.
Okay, so what happened? You could blow that up for me. You know what I did? I made it public. And what happened? Flashback, Gill warned of indictments. Wait a minute. All the ones that they said that they didn't have wasn't going to happen. Turns out they all got arrested, except for the FBI and the DOJ, the key people, the politicians, the distribution of the wire service with that Ronnie Brown and that Fireside restaurants that happen to be next door to the federal fucking courthouse. That's where you get judges and politicians getting paid off by making illegal bets into the restaurant through a wire service to fucking Singapore with a fixed race. I mean, it's a Rembrandt. But guess what happens? Boom, they get called out on that. Now, remember I told you about Pollock? And he turned and Ted Little said that? Here's the email. Hit it again, Qrash.
Okay, which one?
The email that he wants me to run for governor.
Oh, I see. I can't see them from my. I think it's this one. They're so little, I can't see.
I think it's the next. You're right. I got it from here. But what's that saying is that's from Ray Pollock, the guy who was showing a picture. Oh, he's done this, right? Now you'll see. I wish you would move to Pennsylvania and run for governor. Their racing commission is in dire need of change. Ray. Well, wait a minute. Penn National wants to pay me $25 million. You're going to see that later this week with Married to the Mob. You're going to see Ray Pollock, who tried to bury me, thinks I should be running for governor to clean this shit up in Pennsylvania. So we've got a few controversial situations here. You see the cover-up? You see they were thinking I was going to take the settlement still? And that didn't happen. All right, well, let's keep going now. ESPN, right? Gill predicts arrests. Now, guess what? Did you know that was the largest watched ESPN radio show in history? They had me on for 3 more weeks. And guess what? Roger Stein. And I got to tell you, Roger Stein was the voice of racing on ESPN. It was that one, he had a show on Saturday, but the racing world would listen to it. And he was an honest, good man, and he did pass. But he gave me an opportunity to talk my mind and go right after these guys. All right? Hit the next one. You know what we find out right away after that? Everything that I told you happened. Oh, ESPN encouraged Mike Gill's accusations of corruption. I'm having a hard time saying
ESPN confirmed it. Yeah.
Right. See, there's another fucking show. And all these videos you can watch yourself. That was a live show that you can hear. You see? And it was with that. But see, what we didn't know was all that race fixing and that was the money laundering. But it was even bigger. It's where the destination of where they track Pandora Papers in $1 trillion. We're going all in the same direction. I found this before Pandora Papers moved to where I pointed it out.
Right.
Okay. And then how did I design this? And these are from clips that that Qrash put out there. Think about this. All right, hit it the next one. That organizational chart. If you could blow that up a little bit. Now, I gave you, just like I broke it down with the deep state in New Hampshire and the money laundering, broke it down to business, individuals. And let me tell you, on the right-hand back, you're going to see the DOJ. That's Behe. You're going to see Bruce DuPay. That's the FBI. And you hear me call out the FBI and the Department of Justice right then. So who did we have a cover team on the Pandora box in New Hampshire, the Department of Justice and the FBI? Who did I have running this in Pennsylvania? The same Department of Justice and FBI. They run cover. Each office is corrupt. All of it. All of it. You see? So that's also the way in. And it's the same DOJ and FBI blocking it. Each every one of those people are witnesses. Okay. Now, what I was telling you was that these people were wiring, using those wiring service, not just to bet, hit it, Qrash, but to make payoffs to politicians, state police officers, law enforcement, right? Going through bars, going through street joints, going through casinos, connected with Win. And I'll show you in Married to the Mob that you can, Mafia Alive and Well. If you could blow that up a little, Qrash, you're going to see a lot of the wirings and to who that it went to, that you'll see it was politicians, state senators, state troopers. But those are the tracking accounts that are paying off politicians, that are paying. Those are the bribes, too.
At the top, you mean all these accounts at the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, I'm sorry. It's hard to put, I can't fit it on the screen, so I'm just
Yeah, I
okay.
see. CG Technology. That's what you get. It's called Cantor Gaming, too. Okay. Cantor Gaming is the wire service. Cantor Gaming was owned by Pan National. Cantor Gaming got indicted for wire fraud. And what did they come back at? All right, you can hit it. CG Technology. See? It is the wire service. The guy who was running it got busted in fact, he got busted for the illegal wire servicing. See? Now, just before I get to that, but understand what they were doing is, you see those wires? So the same way to clean the money is the same way you make payoffs and bribes. All right? When you find one, you find the other. And I did. That's the Mafia Alive and Well. We literally caught one of the heads of the mob, which also connects to Wynn Casino, which had him resign, which brings us back to the casinos again. See? All connected that way.
Yeah.
Now, what you see here is, remember I told you Nubi Blamadi, and I was telling, and I put it out there, the video about how they were getting licensing. Well, feds made a raid, 5 illegals, all at the racetrack, 1 wanted for murder. You
Wow.
see? Okay, Qrash. They
I
covered their ass again, just like they did when I went to the DEA and they filled up a truckload of fentanyl. It was a cover. Once I exposed it, that was a cover. But it's also how it's done.
and
And
they only got
remember,
5. They just got 5, it said, out of how many? Like hundreds, thousands?
right, it's a
Yeah.
giant operation and it's a network across the country. Horse trucks go amongst other racetracks in different states across the country. So if you're transporting drugs and people, what better place than that?
Right.
And here's the thing, you ready? Cops don't break down 2 things that I know of. They don't break down a hay truck. You ever seen a hay truck when they all strap it? You think the cops are breaking that baby down? You
No.
know the other thing they don't break down? Car carriers. Remember what auto fare? With those
Yeah.
big auto carriers? They don't turn around and have you start taking the cars off.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which when they had the heroin inside the fucking tires, which I
Tired.
took pictures of and posted.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, listen, it's all logical. It all fits. We're not out of school, right? I'm showing you how they clean their money. And listen, the person who's also involved is suggesting that the NBA games are being fixed. And listen, all that I know is these jockeys, that's the human element of fixing. And if they can make that much money in cleaning in one race in a Pennsylvania track, what can they do with an NBA game?
Right.
How many billions then? And see, there's the problem. How do you clean it? How do you use it? And again, let's finish with auditing the Senate and Congress. Don't tell me you're serious if you don't do that. And this thing here, this is the Pandora box. How do you like my odds? I'm in horse racing and then mortgages.
More.
I've
Yeah.
got to find the laundering network through the mortgages, so through the licensing, and then I've got to walk into the horse racing. I mean, you want God to play a bad trick on me? Put me at both places
Yeah.
and have to see the same thing.
You
I mean,
say
you want a bad break?
God said has a sense of humor. That's what you say.
He has to be. And I'm
Now,
trying to laugh,
can
but
you?
think about this. How the hell am I there? And listen, ESPN, I didn't go to them. E60, I didn't go to them. I didn't go to Flynn.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Lowland.
None of them.
O'Keefe, Holly, none of them.
Can
So what was the attraction to me?
Can
It
you
was the
explain
evidence that I
something?
had.
I'm sorry. Can you explain something before you get too far off?
Yeah.
Cleaning the money. Okay.
What?
Some people don't understand cleaning the money.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people don't understand how when you transfer it out and it comes back, like can you
Okay.
explain that?
All right. Well, see, once you steal this money, the ability to use it is how you get caught. Meaning, if you use so much more than you make, like they should be auditing Hunter Biden and things like that. That's the way you get caught, which is, remember, the path is the money. So cleaning it is the ability for you to use it legally. And by cleaning it, you want a disconnect on how you earned it. Now,
So no
how
trace.
you can,
It's like kind of like not be able to trace it, right?
right,
Okay.
right. So how you break that disconnect so it's not traceable is it goes offshore to another country, a
Okay.
country that's generally picked for its discretion about who the fuck sent it. And then what happens is, once that's done, there's a disconnect, different country, it comes back. So, in other words, they don't understand the transaction. They don't know what you sold. They don't know it's none of their business. It's not their country. Now it comes back and you can say you used it.
Okay.
You got it offshore. They can even say, hey, listen, I bet
Yeah.
and won. Hey, congratulations.
Okay. Got it.
See? At the end, you know what they do? That's how they run the lottery. Shaheen and Gordon, the DOJ, they run the fucking lottery. Who's the lottery president? Andy Cruz of the cartel. He licensed the casino and they rigged the lottery. And that's how they loan. What do? 500 million at a time?
Yeah.
Lottery, horse racing, casinos. You don't see the gambling nature? What did Anagos open up? Casinos, casinos, casinos. What did the mob start? The mob started Vegas. What was the purpose? The skim, the launder. Earn money illegally? You better find a way to clean it. I mean, we watched what's those those mob movies from Boston. Uh every movie I said
Uh,
Departed and the other one with the Brinks trucks and all. What do you see them go? They go to the racetrack
the racetrack. Yeah.
and they go to the casino. Hey, and you know that racetrack they go to was Suffolk Downs. Do you remember Whitey Bulger? Do you know how he got bagged? Suffolk Downs fixing races,
Wow.
money laundering. And you bet you didn't know this. You ready? Whitey Bulger won the fucking Massachusetts state lottery. What?
Oh, figures. Oh, wow.
He won the lottery. It's in the movie even.
Okay.
Remember, he goes to his brother, hey, Jimmy, the lottery? He goes, I won. He
Yeah.
didn't win.
He didn't
They
win.
buy the
They rigged
ticket,
it.
launder the money. Right.
Yeah.
Extortion. And you know Bill Shaheen? He was a U.S. attorney while Whitey Bulger was robbing and stealing, and he was protecting Anagos. And guess what? When he resigned, his first client, or one of his first client, was the guy that Whitey Bulger shot and killed. Do you remember that guy, Halloran, that shot in the parking lot? That
No.
guy, Michael, I think his name was O'Connell, Michael Driscoll. Anyhow,
Oh,
that kid
yeah.
was killed. The
Yeah.
lawyer was fucking Shaheen in the cover up. The
Oh,
DOJ and the FBI was still covering up for Bulger.
wow.
These are the same assholes. Jeremiah O'Sullivan was the U.S. attorney. After that, we dealt with Ortiz. That's Lowen. So if we did do the movie again, Lowen's ass would be in it as the U.S. attorney protecting Anagos.
Yeah.
And he took the Pandora box, the whole thing, and gave it to A.G. Barr and said, hey, listen, you ain't burying my ass on this one. So if anybody asks where Gill's evidence is, I gave it to you. And
Yeah.
anybody asks, you can ask Durham. Oh yeah, Durham and Barr, the two assholes coming in to save you, and you bastards bought that bullshit. DOJ again? You
Yeah.
see me fighting with the DOJ. If you watch these clips, I'm calling them out. Which is why they've had an uncomfortable dislike for me all these years. That's
Yeah.
all right. I ain't liking them either.
Yeah. I was gonna say you had two clips or two images that you didn't really hit on here. I didn't know if you.
Oh, is that the oh right. That's we're gonna break this one up and Married to the Mob. That's going to show you the actual wires and where they were coming from and who they were paying off. All right. I mean, that's hardcore evidence. That's evidence that they have. Married to the Mob is a sworn deposition by somebody who was married to one of the heads of the mob that came into my company as a mole. I mean, this is some beautiful shit. And then we got Barrington, the lawyer, who's a mole. We get Kerry Lemieux, who's a mole, who after the meeting set me up to be murdered. I mean, you can't write that. So that's what's next. You know what? Did we talk about that AI piece that
No,
I asked?
I was just gonna say you didn't talk about grok.
Okay, if I could, I before we started today, if you could blow that up a little bit. I simply turned around again. Ready? We're still waiting for the Epstein, right? Files. And now they give us JFK Jr., right? So I'm just simply asked Grok here, what did we get from all this? And the release and so forth. The documents included 2,400 pages. FBI have been journalists researching the whole thing. Ready? The conclusion is the files align. Oh, I can't
With
read the rest.
Lee Harvey Oswald, they're in the middle.
Align with the lone shooter and Lee Harvey Oswald. Holy shit. Stop the presses.
Yeah.
Lee
Tell us
Harvey
something we
Oswald shot
didn't know.
Kennedy. I mean, this is the conclusion
Yep.
that the Warren Commission pretty much did their job. Lone shooter. This is the guy. This is what that came up with.
Yep.
This is the great fucking mystery. You know what? Okay, Qrash. You know what they're doing? They keep promising, promising, promising. And listen, as long as you don't have to deliver, you can promise a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right? You can promise a lot of shit. Listen, all these podcasts have been promising a lot of shit for years. Right? But all of a sudden now, promising, promising, now you get the job. Wait a minute. That's the thing with Patel. Hey, we're going to do this. Bongino, we're going to do this. We're going to get them. Good. Now get them, assholes, or shut up. All around. Right? Put up or shut up. That's why. And we're going to hold your feet to the fire. You can't see these assholes? You can't see Flynn? Hey, listen, Trump can sell Flynn to the doomsday. But if I'm handicapping this, and I was a pretty good handicapper, he's fucked. He's too dangerous to the DOJ. That's what they're measuring now. That's
Right.
even Planet Fitness going, I don't know. And Flynn's got him in his pocket. That's why Ariel knew about it. You see, there's a lot moving, a lot going on. But no one's telling you the complete truth.
Right. No one.
No one. And we're pretty bad shape. This economy
You're
is
trying
trouble.
to. You're trying to, but
Been trying to. This economy is trouble. As I was telling you before, this economy, that's why you're seeing, with the rates and so forth, they're not going to have to cut rates. Rates are going to go down on their own because this is going to start slowing down. That is a fear out there, and it should be. Listen, it's why Musk keeps coming telling you how afraid he is. He's saying, I'm afraid. Listen, when you use in business, right? You know the worst word to use in business?
afraid.
Bankrupt.
Oh, okay.
Bankrupt. And he's saying, you're going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And that's from somebody who put it together, put all the signs together. And I said the same thing. Hey, listen, 76 cents on the dollar goes to interest only. You're screwed. That's it. That's why even the currency things. That's why all of a sudden the waste thing. Listen, they're letting air out of the balloon, but the bottom line here is that waste was minor to what we stole. That's the Green Deal. That's all their friends getting trillions. That's what that is. Copper. That's why Sununu went to copper. That's why all these other certain programs are all. And listen, the family court with these judges matching funds, that's billions of dollars. And they're torturing your children. All of that. That's matching funds that comes out of Social Security. Then they're trying to tell you, well, we got to do something with Social Security. It's going broke. They're stealing it. And it's not the senior citizens that are stealing the money.
Right.
My God.
How do we get to this point? I mean, good Lord.
We got to this point because we trusted the wrong people. Those lawyers became judges. Those judges and lawyers became politicians. They took over the courts. When you took over the courts, you controlled protection. You control protection. You are the head of the deep state. That's the DOJ. That's the FBI. We have been institutionalized. This is a communist government. This is a communist government. You are not free.
Right.
You are not free. And they're just like these old regards they're talking about it. Listen, if we've got these guys, these senators saying they've got like Graham and Pelosi saying we got 250 million, that means they've got trillions.
Right. They're not
There's a
telling.
trillion. I'm sorry, a billion. There's a billion somewhere. That's what you got to find. We can make ourselves well instantly by taking the money back. These people invested well. The largest landholders, hotels, dealerships, residential apartment buildings, they belong to the government now. Thank you for your service. That's what we do. Now we put it down on our bills. But you do it from the Senate and the Congress. And you can't say you can't do it. 100 people we got to audit, and we audit it in an investigation, and we audit their friends and family, their circle of bullshit. We get them all. And in this investigation, you sign that you, under penalty of perjury, that you haven't stole this, you didn't do this, you gave us all the information. Listen, we can clean house. Start there and reel it all back. Other than that, who's going to trust? Are you going to trust whatever they come up with Epstein? Are we going to trust what they come up with John Kennedy? Are we going to trust them? Are we trusting them telling us what we've seen with Flynn for 5 years? That this wasn't all pure fucking bullshit?
It's almost like they're trying to make us not trust them.
Right.
I mean,
which is why they're trying to change my narrative, because if they plug me out, they're going to we're also telling us there is a limited strike here. In fact, I'll leave you guys with this. Ready? There's a limited strike here. What have I been saying? They're going to give you the cartel. Remember the easiest path?
And that's what they're doing.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
Exactly. There's the path. They're already taking. How about this? They're slicing it up for credit, and they haven't been arrested yet. That's a sign. But they got to change the narrative, because Flynn's got to be the guy that does this. He hires these people to write the narrative. The guys that are involved with the cartel, like Planet Fitness, their deal is to work with Flynn to get what they had back. See, that's part of how all this works. And we're here. Now, what happens if that Flynn, all of a sudden, if Flynn gets exposed, then there's a problem. How do you use the blackmail if they know you're the blackmailer and you got the evidence from me? That's the disconnect from my evidence, which we find Raiklen. And what do we just someone post today? Twinkle?
Yeah.
Raiklen with Footloose in New Hampshire. And Raiklen she's saying about all the things going on. And Raiklen goes, well, that's my Gill.
Yeah.
No shit.
No shit.
And that was in what? April of 23.
23. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's why I try to tell them. They know who I am, and they know I have it. And what did Centelli say? They'll weaponize you. Listen, weaponize you against the evil and corrupt.
Yeah.
And the threat is telling you. You, the people of this country, is what is threatened. You to have the knowledge of what they're doing. And each and every time I tell you, and I break that chain with them. You know how many times I could have settled with Flynn and made me a fucking hero? They wanted to make movies.
Yeah.
But what was I going to tell you? The insurrection plot didn't happen? They didn't try to take him out in that meeting?
Oops. Yeah. I mean, sorry, my bad.
Hey, how about this? You ready? It was a deep, and they were moving without me knowing.
Yeah.
And now that I've seen what they did, then it was a right move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's what they want.
Now, before you go, can we tell people maybe this weekend? Well, I don't know how close you want to put these out.
No, I'm good with this. I'm thinking maybe this weekend.
Okay.
And I think you're right about the weekend. You know what it is? I just need people to kind of digest what we gave you. Because what I'm going to give you next ties in directly to this. So we're stepping through that to get to this.
Yeah.
This you're going to see the players. You're going to see the wiretap, who got them and why. And you're going to see state police. In fact, ready? One of the wires that they sent me to call become the governor of Massachusetts. Now.
Great.
Right. So I'm just saying, that's the levels of where we were dealing with all this.
Okay.
And nobody doesn't know. They all know. except for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Crash. All right,
All
so we'll hit them back again this weekend, and we'll give you. And listen, Married to the Mob. I mean, how I met this woman? She was calling up. I was talking to. Listen, I was talking to victims at work all day long, and at night till I go to sleep, they were calling people saying I had to talk people out of suicide. This was a woman who was physically threatened, and so forth. Her husband was in the mob, and she was afraid she was going to be murdered. She's talking to me. The next thing I know is she's working in my company, and I didn't even hire her.
Oh my gosh.
I never put it together. She was really married to the guy, right? In the mob. They wanted her in there, tried to approach me romantically, right? That
Oh
didn't work.
gosh.
I know. You'd be surprised how good looking you get when you're fucking rich. But my
Exactly.
point being, but that was all the plan. That was the thing with the mole. And then she was back, and that was when she was saying 25 million from Liberty, 25 million from Penn, Hiram Eastman from Mississippi with Penn National. That's before I wasn't even suing Penn National. That was 25 million just to not talk about them.
Right.
You know, the stuff that you see now, which is why it's kind of a good thing to bring up now, because now all of a sudden money laundering's coming into focus and how this is all connected. And if you're going to take down Anagos, take down the mob and the cartel behind Anagos
Behind it.
in
Yeah.
this laundering network. Listen, there's a Penn National and most. Remember how West Virginia is so bad in drugs? Remember how Pennsylvania is so bad in drugs? Did you know the base operations in Mississippi too are all Penn National?
Oh, really?
Yes,
Wow.
yes, that's not an accident.
Right.
Remember the movement of Oxycontin and certain things? Those were the states.
Okay.
That's where Penn National has racetracks. West Virginia, Pennsylvania. And where are they moving to New Hampshire? Where are the 3 ground zeros? How's that?
Wow.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
Crash.
Okay.